So, you're hoping to join family in Australia, and you think you might be the last relative living outside the country? Well, if that's you, you're gonna want to listen up. This is not just another visa pathway. It's a very, very specific one, and it often has long waits and strict caps. Getting this right from the very beginning is absolutely critical. Okay, let's dive into the essential guide for the subclass 835 visa. So, what's this visa all about, really? Well, yes, it's a permanent visa, which is huge. But I want you to burn this phrase into your mind. Only close family members. This is not some general family reunion visa. Its purpose is incredibly specific, designed for a very particular and pretty rare family situation. And you know what? Understanding that is the most important first step you can take. To make sure we cover all the bases, we're going to break down the eligibility requirements into 5 key parts. We'll start with the core idea of the visa. Then we'll get into the family connection test. That's a big one. After that, the financial guarantee, the personal checks you have to pass, and finally, how your past immigration history can play a role. All right, Section 1. The whole concept here, the entire reason this visa even exists, is built on a single idea. You are the last link in your family's chain outside of Australia. It's designed for one purpose, and one purpose only, to make sure that the final member of an immediate family isn't left all alone overseas when everyone else is already here. And you know what? Let's just look at that official definition one more time, because the emphasis says it all. It's for people to be with their only close family members. That word only isn't just a casual detail. It's everything. It is the absolute foundation of this visa. Every single rule we're about to talk about is designed to enforce this one super strict purpose. So that brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single biggest hurdle for most people trying for this visa: proving your family connection. Seriously, this is the test where most applications fall apart, so this is where you need to pay the closest attention. Okay, so you have to think of this as a 2-part test. On one side, you've got who can sponsor you: an eligible parent, a sibling, you see the list. Honestly, that's usually the easy part. But the other side, that's the deal breaker. You or your partner cannot have any other near relatives living anywhere else in the world. We're talking no other parents, no other siblings, no non-dependent kids. This is how the government ensures this visa is only for that person who is truly the last one left. Now, if you manage to clear that very high bar for the family connection, your next big step is all about the money. The Australian government needs to know with certainty that you won't need to rely on their social security system once you arrive, and that's where this financial guarantee comes in. And this really boils down to a pretty direct question you need to ask yourself. Are you, or is your family, in a position to actually provide this guarantee? Let's take a closer look at what that really means. So there are 2 key things here. First, you have to get something called an assurance of support. This is a legal promise from someone in Australia, usually your sponsor, that they'll support you financially for your first few years, so you don't need government payments. And second, it's a simple check, but it's mandatory. You must have paid back any and all debts you might owe to the Australian government. No exceptions. Okay, so you've passed the family test, you've passed the financial test. What's next? It's the personal requirements. Now, these are pretty standard across most Australian visas, but don't let that fool you. They're absolutely non-negotiable. You have to meet the country's standards for health, character, and values. And it's a pretty clear 3-step check. First, you'll need to pass health exams. Second, you'll have to provide police certificates from every country you've lived in to meet that character requirement. And third, you'll sign the Australian Values Statement. And just a heads up, any family members included in your application, they have to meet these standards too. Now that third step, signing the value statement, it's more than just putting your name on a form. Before you can sign it, you're required to read a booklet called Life in Australia. So when you sign, you're making a formal promise that you get it, that you'll respect the Australian way of life, and most importantly, that you will obey the laws of the country. We're at our final section, and I've got to be honest, this one is serious. Your entire history with Australia's immigration system is going to be put under a microscope, and certain things from your past can stop an application dead in its tracks. So let's just be really direct here. If you have ever had a visa canceled or an application refused in the past, that is a major red flag. While there might be some very rare exceptions, a negative immigration history can be a massive roadblock, especially for a visa that's in such high demand. Being 100% truthful on your application isn't just a suggestion, it's absolutely essential. And one final critical point, especially if a child is part of your application. There's a core principle that overrides everything else. The visa will simply not be granted if it's found to not be in the best interests of an applicant who's under 18. This is a protective measure that the department takes extremely seriously. So let's put it all together. Think of these as the absolute must-haves for your application. 1. You need an eligible sponsor in Australia. 2, and this is the big one, you must have no other near relatives anywhere else on the planet. 3, that financial assurance of support is mandatory. And finally, you have to pass all the health, character, and values checks. Which brings us to the final question, and it's the one only you can really answer. After walking through just how strict and specific all of these rules are, especially that no other near relatives rule, take a second, be honest with yourself, and ask, are you the remaining relative they are looking for?